Hey, how's it going? Today I'm talking about, should I still taper even though I missed 2 weeks of running?
This is Running to the Castle, a podcast for injury-prone Run Disney runners on a journey to running magical miles. Join me, Dr. Allie, as I share the secrets I've gathered as a runner, doctor of physical therapy, and coach. You'll learn the exact ways I get my clients to the castle strong without feeling broken or held together with KT tape as they cross the finish line.
So this kind of question, not the exact question, but this kind of question is super common. So I want to address it. And I do apologize. I did not get my ducks in a row, and I am recording this podcast episode day it drops because ducks were not in a row, and I did not record. Last week was a shit show, and so it's happening today. So hopefully I will edit this episode soon after and post it today, Tuesday, February 17th, and make sure that it gets out on the day that it's supposed to. Thank you so much for your patience. Life got lifey, and here we are. So I saw in a post in one of the Run Disney Facebook groups that said, I feel like I'm just catching up. I missed 2 weeks of training due to being sick last month, but now I'm feeling strong and confident. Should I still taper? Now, I'm guessing they're training for Princess because we are about 10 days out from the Princess Half Marathon weekend. And this happens all the time because life gets lifey, or you get sick, travel, work, vacation, whatever, and you missed a couple of weeks of running. This happens all of the time. This happens, just today, 3 of my Stronger, Faster Finisher clients messaged me, sent me a DM and said, hey, can you adjust my training? I missed my long run over the weekend. Or how do I adjust my training? I missed my long run over the weekend. And so for regular training, you know that my training plans accommodate for that. That's one of the reasons I have deload weeks. Another one of the reasons that deload weeks are in there is so that somebody who is progressing new for the first time, never having run that distance, their body can adjust to the training load and avoid getting hurt. Or if somebody's coming back from an injury, they have this time for their body to adjust. But that deload week is also a good buffer week for when life gets lifey. Depending on the length of the training plan, there are multiple deload weeks in that training schedule. So the number that is in there is what I mean. The number of deload weeks that is in a training plan that I've written all depends on how far you are running for that longest run in your race. So is it a half marathon? Is it a full marathon? 10K, 10 miler? 2-course challenge, dopey, goofy, that will dictate how many deload weeks. Because really, it's how long is this training program, right? The longer the training program, the more deload weeks you're going to have in there. Because I have them scattered through, well, no, I don't have them scattered throughout. They're every 5 to 6 weeks. And that is very specific because that goes along with when most people, the majority of slow back of the pack runners or injury prone runners are going to start getting injured. It's after about 4 to 5 weeks of buildup. And so I strategically put that in there. And I know that based on all of the hundreds of conversations I've had between people in my DMs, people in the clinic that I used to work with, people in Stronger, Faster Finisher, my one-on-one clients. I have had this conversation so much that I know when people are more likely to get injured. And one of it is after building up for about 4 to 5 weeks. So that's why the deload week is 5 to 6 weeks. But it also allows for life to get lifey. We don't have life getting lifey every week, right? Like it's not happening every week. We can usually push through and find a way to manipulate the schedule so that we can do at least the long run. But sometime in about a month's time frame, something happens and we can't do it. So there's the deload. That's in normal training. Now we are talking about tapering. So this person missed training because they were sick. Should they still taper? Or should they keep training and try to get another long run in? So based on what this person has said and the photo that they shared, I know that this person has hit at least 10 miles in their training. Now, you may have just answered this based on that mileage alone. And you may be thinking, well, Dr. Allie recommends for a half marathon only going up to 10 miles and making that 10 miler take as long as it's going to take you to do the half marathon on race day. Now, I can say that this person is doing a half marathon because of the time frame we're at. She's not doing a marathon. Well, you know what? I am actually not sure. I am guessing because she's posting in runDisney, and I know what race weekend is next, and it's Princess. So the longest distance in that race weekend is the half marathon. Maybe she's just posting in here to ask a general running question, but she's actually signed up for something else. We will go with the assumption that it's Princess weekend that she's training for, and we will go with the assumption that it's a half marathon. But it actually doesn't matter the distance. So I'm only talking about it because I know you listening are asking, well, what distance is she running? It does not matter. We are 10 days out from race day. You should be tapering. The taper has less to do with how many miles you've actually run and how many times you've actually run, how many weeks off you took. And it has everything to do with how far out are you from the race? Because if you run too much too close to the race, your body doesn't have enough time to recover. So you may not get injured, but you aren't going to feel your best getting to the start line. Definitely not feeling your best when you're getting to the finish line. That's what the taper is for. The taper is to prepare your body for race day. It is there to help you gain energy, conserve energy, so that you have as much energy as you can when you hit the start line. So taper is all about staying mobile. So you're still running, still walking, staying mobile, and eating a ton leading up to the race. Well, I mean, I guess that's more of race week, but there's overlap in that taper. But it's so that you don't overdo it a week, 10 days, 2 weeks before your race and have to recover. So this taper, part of it has to do with how long it takes muscles, ligaments, tendons to recover if they were going to recover on their own with no medical intervention. It's 10 to 14 days. 10 to 14 days. So if you've had a nagging injury, an ache, a pain, soreness, and you at least give yourself 2 weeks before your half marathon, your body could potentially deal with that ache, pain, beginning of an injury so that you feel fresh on race day. Because the physiologic process that's happening takes 10 to 14 days. I know that from my physical therapy background. And then we also, so part of that taper is toning down the mileage, toning down the intensity, and toning down strength workouts. Because if we want that body to recover and heal anything, even if it's just healing the natural micro tearing that happens because of the activity you're training for, and it's not actually the beginning stages of an injury or anything like that, every time you add intensity, whether intensity be you're lifting heavy or you're running fast or you're running long, every time you add intensity in that way, it starts the cycle over again. It starts the clock over again of how long it takes you to fully recover from that. So if you're training for a half marathon and you are continuing to add new miles to your training and you run 10 miles up until the 1 week before the race, 7 days is not enough to fully recover from that. Could you still feel okay race morning? Yes. Yes, you could. You could still feel okay. You won't feel your best. The time is not there. You need the 10 to 14 days to recover from that, right? Like, think about it. When we talk about injury, if you've ever injured yourself, let's say you've twisted your ankle, you go to the doctor. What is the follow-up timeline? I want to see you back here in 2 weeks. That timeline is strategic and specific because they know if they don't need to do anything else, it will heal in 10 to 14 days. So when they see you in 14 days, if it's not better, they know it's not going to get better without other intervention. Same concept here. We're using the same timeline because of what's happening on the inside of your body. Now, again, I have probably confused somebody. You don't necessarily have to be injured for this timeline to apply, because with the type of training we're doing, training for 5K, 10K, half marathon, full marathon, 10 milers, because of the intensity at which we're training for these races, you have micro tearing. You have it. That happens when you lift weights. It happens when you run far, when you run fast. Fast is subjective. See, I feel like I have to do all of these qualifiers because you listening, you're probably saying, well, I'm slow, so that doesn't apply to me. It does, because it's not fast in the sense of comparing to elite runners. It's fast comparing to yourself. We always only compare to ourselves. So if you're trying to go faster, even just on a 45-minute speed workout, that's still faster. It's intensity. Or you might be saying, well, I'm only training for a 10K, but that's the distance you train for, right? Like, that's a lot to your body because you haven't done 10 miles, 13.1 miles, 26.2 miles. 10K, 6.2 miles is a lot for your body. I never compare one person to another. It's you to you, your speed to your speed, your distance to your distance. That 2 weeks is needed leading up to race day to allow your body to feel its best, be ready for the starting line so that you have done everything in your power. So reading a statement like this, immediately my brain said, the hay's in the barn. You've done the work. You can't do any more miles. Adding more miles will not improve your body's ability to cross that finish line at this point. If anything, it will be a detriment, especially if you were sick recently. It's great that this person's feeling strong and confident. Let's keep going with that. Let's ride it out. Stay mobile, keep moving, ride the bike, pretty easy, go for some tolerable walks. I don't want to say fast. I don't want to say slow. You don't want to be, it's not a safari at this point. Like, you can have a little bit of a clip. You can have a little bit of a pace, but nothing crazy. Nothing that makes it feel like, oh, I'm huffing and puffing and I need to run to keep up this pace. No, it should be not quite leisurely. It's not a safari with Levi. But it's not, I gotta go to the bathroom and I need to get there, right? Like, somewhere in between. But you need that timeline for tapering to feel your best. So please trust the taper. It is in your best interest to take that whole taper time.